Good morning. It's Saturday morning, whatever the date is for the people watching this at some other point. Um, October 4th, I think. Anyway, I am making my way to Oasis Community Church, formerly known as Urban Hope. We have a group coming from Ohio for, I think, a whole week. I'm not sure. But I'm joining the group today as we hit the streets of Kensington Avenue. Making my way up City Line. I don't normally go up City Line Avenue because of all the red lights. But I tried stopping at one of my local McDonald's, and the line was so long, and every parking place was filled with cars. So I thought, well, I'm just going to stop at one of the other McDonald's along here. And, grab something to eat on the way in. What I'm hoping that I can get the group to Huntington Station area so that they can meet Sophia and see her artwork. I really want to highlight what she's doing out there. But as you know, the needs are staggering. You know, if you're not one to be visiting the streets, and you're always welcome to, heroin almost doesn't exist anymore. It's now fentanyl, car fentanyl, and all. I mean, the evolution, for lack of a better word, of these drugs is just outrageous. People in wheelchairs. Narcan is not even working in all cases anymore. It's heartbreaking. The nature of what I'm doing on the streets has changed somewhat. I'm there. I aim for once a week. I was doing 3 trips a week, but I don't have the finances to cover that. Just life is getting increasingly expensive, and even with donations that I receive, it's not covering 3 visits a week. As much as I would love to. I mean, one of the fascinating things about doing this is there are some days when I've said, today's my day to go. I don't feel like it. I'm awfully tired. I'm just sort of worn out. I think I'll just stay here and putter around the apartment. But then I say, no, I've committed myself to doing this. And I get out there, and sometimes I'm even dragging myself out of the car a little bit. And then I have these interactions with folks, and I hear the successes and some of the challenges and so forth. And by the time I'm done for that visit, I am leaving so rejuvenated, which just holds or provides evidence, I guess, for that thought that when you go out and serve people, you end up getting back so much more than what you've put in. And it's sort of cool. I've been doing this long enough now. I have to check. 2017, I think. So 8-ish years. Stay there. Thank you. Okay, my McDonald's is coming up here. So we're going to swing in there. Haverford Avenue and City Line, or City Avenue as it's called these days. Try not to get run down by the truck behind me. Everybody's got the same idea. Everybody makes the U-turn. That's funny. I pulled in the driveway here and there was nobody in line and everybody made a U-turn in front of me and now I'm fourth. So anyway, grab my wallet. Maybe. Oh, there we go. What was I saying? Good question. What was I saying? What was I saying? Yeah, the evolution of the drugs is sad. And I'm coming to realize, and this is painful, but people who are out there, it can be summed up this way: detox or toe tag. There's no other option. And so when people are out there year after year after year after year after year, sometimes with little moments, like maybe a month of drug-free time or whatever, there's no way that they're going to get out of it alive if they don't go through the detox process. And that's the message that I want to convey today to this group that's coming in. And it's painful because I've got friends out there at this point after 8 years. They're treasures to me. And some more so than others because of interaction and so forth. But it's agonizing to realize that these people who I think of as friends are not going to make it if they don't decide detox. And I had a wonderful conversation with one of the people who did survive. Okay, I'm coming up to my window here. And they said that, well, let me back up a little bit. This person had a habit, as so many people do, of getting into detox and a day or so later signing out what is on paper called against medical advice. And they're doing so for various reasons. In some cases, the care is so terrible, the detox facility is not able to keep up on the incredible level of agony they're in. And it's much easier from their perspective to just leave, go buy that little bag for $5 and feel better. And hold on.
$13 for what way?
No app today.
What was it like?
One sausage, egg, and cheese McMuffin and one hash brown, and that's it.
You may go into the next one, dog. Fantastic.
All right. See you in a bit. Pull up here a little bit. And so, but this person went to a facility by their choice, and they chose this one facility. I think this is great. I'm pretty sure it is. Because it is so remote that it's much harder to leave the place. Some people will know the place I'm talking about without mentioning the name, but the place has a driveway that's 1.5 miles long through cornfields. And then you get to the end of the driveway and you're greeted by more cornfields, and the nearest town, as it is maybe 2 more miles away. No mass transit. And some people choose to go to this particular facility because it's so remote. They know that it's much harder to leave. Well, this person decided that they were just going to leave anyway. They just couldn't take it anymore. And apparently one of the staff, I think it was an RN, basically reamed them out. Said, don't you dare leave. You know, you get on top of this. Be done with it. And apparently that lecture was a turning point for this individual. And I want to get better at being more firm. 2 or 3 days after hearing that testimony, by the way, that person is doing fantastic these days. 2 or 3 years free of their stuff. I forget right now, but something like that. Within a couple of weeks after hearing how that registered nurse set this individual straight, I decided to take that approach with one person who I have known out there for years. And this individual, I found them under a bridge with a cluster of people around them. And this individual was serving as the local street level drug dealer, doing her thing as I'm talking to her. People are coming up and buying crack cocaine, and I'm standing there. And I said, you remember so-and-so, don't you? Oh, yes, and delightful. I was talking about one person who had died. And I said, we talked about how she didn't want to die, but she died. And she was delightful and a little headstrong.
Head southwest toward City Avenue.
And I said, I want to show you something. And I pulled out the phone that I'm doing this video on. And I showed her a picture of our deceased friend lying in the casket. Now that might sound morbid, but part of the culture in these situations is you take pictures of people. And this individual was as beautiful as ever. And I showed the living person as they're selling their drugs. I said, don't let this happen to you. And in the midst of her selling her drugs to the people coming up to her, she burst into tears. She said, I can't put my family through that. And I said, no, you can't. Do not let this happen to you. And I didn't see her for maybe a month. And I thought, maybe I got through to her. And I don't know where she was during that month, but a month-ish later, there she was again. But at least I planted a seed. And that's all we can do. Plant seeds, offer moments of faith, hold on. How you doing? Yeah, please. Thank you. All right, let's do it again sometime. Yeah. This is the happiest McDonald's, which is why I like coming here. All right, thank you. Have a good day. So anyway, if you're in the area, what I just say, City Avenue and Haverford Avenue, and you want to support a happy McDonald's, this is the one to come to. I try not to come up City Avenue because, like I said, there's so many traffic lights. And they're poorly timed. So yeah, I need to get more encouraging, more like, why are you still out here? Yes, I understand it's agony, but are you going to get better by staying out here year after year after year? All right. City Avenue. And how much further? 28 minutes. 28 red minutes. Oh, great. Here we go. I just set it on 35 and go. This is a cool area through here. I'm going to get the terminology wrong, but this is an area where a lot of Jewish folks live, and what's the word? Ira, if you're watching, what's the word I'm looking for? The traditional dress, Jewish folks. Okay, I'll leave it at that. It's just cool. You've got families walking around in the traditional, I don't want to say old style, well, that's not right, but not modern American dress. And that's fine, it's cool. But this is an area where you see a lot of folks like that. The reason I mentioned that is just happened to see one man walking down the street there, sidewalk. So yeah, here we are. How many traffic lights have I already hit? Whatever. So yeah, I'm going to be taking that approach a bit more. Hash brown. The way people drive anymore is so scary. I'm noticing a growing pattern with all the driving I do, that if you are cruising along and you've got a safe driving distance between yourself and the car in front of you, as determined by this new cruise control that cars have, the car behind you, it's like 5 feet off your back bumper, will see that open space and decide they need to fill it and zip around you. And I've had people cross the double yellow line just to do that. But I figure if they feel the need to be ahead of me, that's their issue. I can't be worried about it. I just got to try to get to the point where I'm going live. And now I'm at Wynwood Road. People who know this section, Wynwood Road and City Avenue. And Wynwood Road and 63rd Street are like a quarter of a block apart. And they have separate working traffic lights, which causes a traffic jam all the time. It should just be considered one intersection. Going through a yellow light. There we go. St. Joe's University. Oh my God. Good Lord. You blow that light. There you go. Hmm. 59th Street, also known as Wilson Good Senior Way. He was a mayor of Philadelphia. Later became a professor to some extent. I'm not sure if he was full-time or part-time or guest lecturer, I'm not sure, at Eastern, where I went. That was long after I was gone. And it's sad. Okay, folks, let's see here. It's sad how the city is handling this whole situation. They will tell people to move along. They can't sit here, can't sit there, can't sit there, arrest this person, arrest that person. When 90% of all the women on the streets are 100% reliant on prostitution to raise their money. 70% of the men on the streets are 100% reliant on that 90% of women. And so let's assume, for the sake of conversation, that the number of men and the number of women equals each other. That means that 80% of all the money for the homeless population comes through prostitution, and yet the women engaging in the prostitution to financially support an addiction they would rather not have are the ones who are arrested, and not the men who have the careers to lose and families to be damaged and so forth if they're caught. And I truly believe that if the city followed their pattern of, let me back up. The city, over these years, has told a given tent community, says you must be removed from here 30 days from this notice. And they come in 30 days later and clear everybody out. And they put up big permanent signs, you cannot have a tent here, and so forth. If they were to establish that protocol, saying 30 days from this date, or effective January 1st, or whatever. All right, we got a construction site here. Oh, goody. Guess I need to move over. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Everybody has to be in front of everybody else. That's what causes the problem. Anyway, got a little construction here. Goody. What was I saying? Yeah. Say, effective such and such a date, police will have every right to investigate why you, sir, are picking her up. If you have a family relationship, fine. Or something like that. Because that would put the pressure on the men doing the hiring. And not the women trapped in the addiction. But anyway. I'm stuck in traffic here, so I think I'm going to focus on what's going on here. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share these thoughts, and I'll talk to you later.